Hello, everybody. It's me, Roy, with One Day Better. And I have the next episode of What's the Biz? And I'm so excited to bring you this amazing powerhouse of a woman, Jena Lubeck. So, everybody, just give her a big hand. And I can't wait to actually find out more about her. She recently joined the redesigned Empire, however, I think like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And we only really get to see each other during our masterminds because we're not in the same circles other than being in the larger group. So I can't wait to find out more about her myself. So without further ado, everybody give her a hand. I'm so excited that she's here. So let me ask you this for those that don't know you or however else, or when you're first introducing yourself to somebody, how do you introduce yourself?
Well, I introduce obviously with my name first. I'm Jena Lubeck, and when it comes into like what I do or what I used to do, I talk about how I help create educated confidence for families and business owners that struggle with the debilitating debt and uncertainty of financial security.
Look at that. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, because I know that that can be a very stressful time. I mean, the people are already going through stress to begin with,
Hmm.
but to actually grab their hand and help them through this most difficult time in their life,
Hmm.
I really can't even imagine a worse time in somebody's life, and to be able to find somebody like you help them through this. So that's great. How long is it that you've been doing what you're doing?
And so I've been doing this now for 7 years. And of those 7 years, I've kind of been part-time and then full-time and then part-time again. So I'm grateful for the flexibility of the business for sure.
Wow. Okay. So when you started this business, what were you doing beforehand?
And so I was in oil and gas, and I was in that industry for about 12 years. So I did everything from engineer's helper to, shoe crew, pipelining, working in a mod yard, working in a fab shop. And so I kind of did a Jill of all trades, if you will.
My
And
goodness.
yeah, from safety to QC weld inspecting to running heavy equipment. So I've done it all.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now,
Yeah,
and you're in Canada, is that correct? You're
I am. I'm in Alberta, Canada. So oil and
wow.
gas is our bread and butter up here.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I have only been to Canada a couple of times, but each time it's been in
Mm,
Montreal. So yeah,
nice.
so I absolutely love it. So you're a little further west
That
and
is
north. Is that accurate?
Yeah, yeah, like I'm in I guess central northern Alberta, somewhere in there. Like I'm about an hour outside of Edmonton.
Wow. Well, I definitely have to branch out and see a little bit more of Canada because I know what I have seen at the times that I've been in Montreal. It has been absolutely beautiful and stunning. And I'm sure that Alberta is just as beautiful. So, did you actually grow up there? I mean, have you always been right there in Alberta, or did you kind of move around in Canada? Oh, and we seem to have frozen. So, let's give a moment here and see if the computer catches up. All right. Well, we will wait here just a moment and kind of see. One of our Wi-Fi's or however else must be going a little wonky. All right. So our recordings have picked back up again or however else. Were you all have did you always grow up there in Alberta, or were you?
I've always been in Alberta. I haven't moved very far from home.
Oh, wow. That's
Hmm.
awesome.
Yeah.
So what's a defining moment in your life that changed your direction? And that kind of sounds like when you're switched over to decide to open your business.
Yeah, so the defining moment was like I was working in a job in Fort Saskatchewan, and I was really getting tired of the lifestyle, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. So this was at the end of my 12-year tenure in oil and gas. I realized that I didn't have much quality of life. And, you know, most of the people in the oil and gas industry have been divorced at least once, sometimes twice. Most of them were working to pay for homes that they'd never get to use because it's for their ex-spouses or their kids, and they pay for kids that they never get to see. And I didn't want that for my future. I also didn't want to be living paycheck to paycheck for the rest of my life or saving for the times that I would have off from oil and gas because in that industry you constantly work yourself out of a job.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be able to retire comfortably, so I needed to find something different. So that was the defining moment was that job and just really being tired of
Yeah.
12-hour days.
Yeah, 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 exactly. And that was like 7 years ago.
I was still doing that in 2019 when I got my license. So I was still working full time, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, while building a business here part time. So it was really strenuous times. I would work 12 hours a day, then drive to the office or the client's house after a 12-hour work shift and help out the clients, and then go home, eat, rinse, and repeat.
Wow. And I
Yeah.
know so many of us, I guess, because we all kind of centered around Entra, and that's how we kind of started. You started way before Entra even came around. So, yeah, so that's really cool that you kind of picked up your bootstraps and decided to go ahead and start something different and
Mhm.
new and kind of do that. That's really awesome. What kind
Thank
of
you.
things, what did you find was your first like major hurdle and was so excited to overcome that when you were starting?
My major hurdle was I guess I would have to say that it was going from employee mindset to entrepreneur mindset.
Yes.
That was a huge hurdle because the entrepreneurial roller coaster is a very real thing where you get up on these highs and then you think that you got everything going on, but then you forget to do the work that got you to those highs, and so then you hit the valleys and the lows. And so that was part of my biggest struggle when I first got started, was just knowing that I have to show up like it's a job in the very beginning until I have a sustainable business where I can actually take a couple steps back.
Yes, yes. And you actually help others also do the same kind of thing, right? As if I
Yes.
understand correctly. I think I
Mhm.
was doom scrolling the other day and happened to see one of your posts that you had had somebody that you've been working with reach a milestone. And
Yes.
so I did comment or have her, I think on that, or at least hearted it. But that's very exciting. So you actually help others do the same kind of thing,
Hmm.
helping people really kind of deal with the stress that they deal with when somebody passes or preparing them for that.
Yeah, preparing them for the end stages of life, preparing them for all of the middle stages and in between, kids' education, retirement. We do everything, and I absolutely love that we get to help the middle class on everything financial because there's not many other companies out there doing it.
That's really nice. That's awesome. Yeah, and it's definitely something you want to really dive into before things really hit the wall or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it's better to be prepared than not. But I'm sure that you also deal with people that have, you know, they didn't really plan like you
Yeah,
did.
I've got clients from all ages, like 20 to 96. So
Oh,
those that don't plan, it's still good to sit down with someone like me because there's a lot of things that we can educate you on and help you be prepared for the things that you didn't plan for, even if you think it's too late.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Mhm.
And so you found that niche because again, I mean, they're really, like you said, there were very few companies that kind of deal with this or have or and help people, and that's kind of what geared you towards that. What really brought you to that mindset or that thought process? Did you lose somebody and that's what kind of woke up this whole dream or
Well, I think the dream started I just really wanted out of oil and gas. And I really just wanted something that I knew was tangible. I've tried multiple multi-level marketing businesses because they all, they promise, I guess I mean, it's just as much work, except the return on investment isn't as much in the very beginning, and then there's constant resets for your promotions, and it's just like you feel like you're never getting ahead. At least that was my personal experience. Now I know some people have made multi-level marketing work for them, which is awesome, but I just wanted something that was tangible, that I could actually build a business and be able to have freedom for myself. And then when I really dug into this business and started learning what we do for people, it went from my head to my heart because we make a real difference here. Like, my dad was diagnosed with critical illness in 2015, and this has no bearing on why I started this business, but my family was left behind. Nobody educated us on life insurance and critical illness and saving for retirement. And my mom is good with money and saving and all of the things, and she never taught me. My dad was an entrepreneur, so I have some entrepreneurial skills from him, which was why I was so like, oh, a business of my own, let's try it. But knowing that my family was left behind, I really wanted to make a difference for other people's families so that they weren't left behind. Because had I known these strategies back when I was pipelining, I probably would have been a multimillionaire by my mid 30s
Yeah.
because I would have known better. I would
Yeah.
have had the education to make better decisions.
Wow. And so you're doing the same thing too. You're teaching other people to kind of do this and
Hmm.
grow. And does it have to be somebody that's in Canada, or can it be people all over the world? Or
It can be people all over North America. So Canada
Mhm.
and the US
Okay.
for right now. Before COVID, we were trying to expand into the Philippines. Then COVID kind of shut that down. Right.
Ah,
So, yeah, we have our company, Aegon, is the parent company, and they have to, have a foot in the door with the other countries so that we can learn their financial system and then
wow.
present and train people like me to help their people to learn their financial education.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense. And how crazy that, yeah. It's hard to think that, I mean, I guess it was like 5 years ago that COVID kind of happened, 5, 6 years ago or whatever else, and it really just pulled the rug out from the world. And how crazy. So what was it like during that time frame when you were trying to
Mhm.
build the business? And my gosh, there were so many people that unfortunately lost their lives, and you must have been dealing with a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there was a lot of different challenges coming from that because we pivoted from doing everything in person in our offices across Canada to being able to utilize Zoom and stay at home. So then there was a lot of kickback from people thinking that we weren't legit because we were using online
Yeah.
platforms. And I get it. There's a lot of, I guess, scams out there that are online. And so that was one of the biggest challenges. But what I found for myself is that I went from one provincial license during COVID to 9 provincial licenses. So I actually expanded my business across Canada, and I now have licensed agents in 3 or 4 different provinces at the moment. So COVID was a blessing in disguise, even though there was a lot of strenuous times.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because obviously at that point it really kind of woke everybody up that you need to have a plan.
Yeah, and nothing
Because
is
again, you're
secure.
talking about something like critical illness, and people don't even think about something like that, but they're one step away from having everything taken away from them if they're
Well,
not
yeah.
prepared.
Exactly.
Because
And that's the power of giving people the education so then they can make a decision that's best for themselves and their families, right? Because I mean, like, let me ask you a question, Roy. If something was to happen to you tomorrow and you were injured, you couldn't go to work, how long would it take for you to deplete your savings that you have?
yeah, and and quite honestly, again, I was one of those people, the last job that I had, not the one I'm currently in, but the one that I had previous, I had two workers' comp issues, one with each shoulder.
Hmm.
And it was just a matter of time that they were waiting to get rid of me. And that was a very big wake up call again because I mean, as much as the workers' comp, laws or whatever else kind of protect you in a way, they still don't prepare you for everything that's going to happen. And when they finally got to that point and they, gave me the boot or whatever else, I mean, that's where I woke up like shortly before then because I was like, wow, they're going to let me go at some point. I got to figure something out. And I happened to see Jeff Lerner's video with Entra and like starting a business online and everything else. And I was like, you know what? What's it going to hurt to at least look into and find out more information about it and try to figure out starting something else because at some point they're going to let me go. And sure enough, I signed up with Entra and 2 weeks, it wasn't, I think like 2 weeks later, I got
Mm.
the boot. And
Wow.
it was like, holy moly, that was a very difficult time for me too, because again, I didn't have a lot of refund, a lot of resources. I didn't have a huge amount of savings or anything to really fall back on. So yeah,
Hmm.
I totally understand and needing to be prepared for something like that because you're not expecting it when it happens. And
That's
you
just it.
better be prepared for it because it just takes one trip, one fall, one something to change your life.
And that's
So,
exactly it. And lots of people just don't have that education, Roy. So it makes it very challenging for, those families that have to go through that. And it can end up breaking families apart because of the financial stress that they have to endure during those times. And what I think people fail to forget or fail to remember is that your ability to work is your biggest asset. You are your biggest asset, not your house, not your car,
exactly.
you, right? So if you can't work, if you're hurt or sick, then what,
Yeah.
right? So,
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
I hope that you all are listening out there because honestly, again, that is big. You need to be prepared because you're not expecting it when it happens.
Yeah,
And
we're not all
sometimes
10
at
feet
that
tall
point,
and bulletproof anymore.
yeah. And
So,
if you're not prepared nowadays, and especially the way things are going in the world and the craziness of everything going on in our country, which is affecting most every other country around the world,
mhm.
how insane, because again, it just one little switch, one little thing happens and it throws, a wrench in the entire system.
Yeah.
So, yeah, wow. So, what does it take for somebody to kind of join you, or and what kind of training do they have to go through, or?
Well, there's a screening process, of course, to make
Mhm.
sure that they're a good fit for the core values that we uphold. So we want like strong strength of character, your strong morals, strong values, and the desire to want to not only help your own family, but to help others as well. But so there is that screening process, obviously, and no criminal background and all of those things, right? We want to make sure that we're working with really good people. And then the process looks like is they contact me or I contact them, however that happens. We sit together, we talk about things. I show them the education and what they're going to be doing once they have their provincial or state license. And then if it's a good fit, then we enroll them in the training program. Now, that training program is entirely up to them. They're basically the gas pedal and I'm the steering wheel of the vehicle. The business is the vehicle, right? So however fast or slow they want to go is however fast or slow I'm going to guide them in the directions of the goals that they want to achieve. So some people can start very part-time while still working their careers. Now there's obviously different careers that you can't work when you get your license. Like you can't work for a bank and then have a license here and work for us because that's a conflict of interest.
Okay.
Right. Right.
That's
So there are
understandable.
some stipulations, and obviously there's a lot of testing that you have to go through as well, because it's a government regulated course that you have to do
Mhm.
to get your provincial or your state license. And so you want to make sure that you take the time to learn everything and you're passing the exams so that you can start off really strong and help people in the right way from the start.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you're not going to just take anybody and everybody that, funnels in and wants to, do this or however else. The fit needs to be right on both your end and on their end.
Absolutely, yes.
Because again, I mean, you just never really know where people are coming from and what their backgrounds are and where their heart is. And
Exactly.
I can see that you have a giant heart. Luckily, I'm one of those people that get to see auras within people, and yours is very bright. And I love seeing that bright blue and the bright yellows. So very, very awesome to see that.
Thank
So,
you.
what is one of those transformations or results that you're most proud of helping somebody achieve?
Oh my gosh, there's so
I'm
many. There's
sure.
so many.
And if
Hmm,
you have to tell a couple, that's fine too. I'm all ears.
okay. All
We
right.
love
So
hearing positive.
yeah, there's definitely a couple. So there's one recently. I've got a friend and she's also a client, but she's become a really good friend over the years. She's out in Nova Scotia and we were doing a review and she's paying like $1,300 a month in debt. And that's a lot. So what we did is we did a restructuring of her debt and we've got it down to now $160 a month from $1,300 a month. So that
Wow.
frees up a lot of cash flow for her and her two children that she's the main provider for, which is pretty dang awesome. And on another note, there was another family that I helped. It was a friend of a friend, and she was a teacher down in southern Alberta. This one, it kind of hurts my heartstrings a little bit. She was very young, and we had made sure that we had started off with savings for her, got her a little bit of life insurance, and I got some notifications that she had missed her payments, and she never misses a payment on either her TFSA or her life insurance. I reached out to her, heard nothing. Then I did a review with the friend that referred her to me, and I found out that she had passed a couple months before that. So this was a learning lesson for me because I didn't have the contacts for her beneficiaries. I knew their names, but I didn't have their contact information. So I had literally had to reach out to her brother on Facebook Messenger and send a voice note because I just found out. I was crying at the time and I was like very apologetic at the same time because sorry for your loss. And now I'm bringing up something that you've already kind of dealt with because it's been a couple months and here we are. I have to bring it all up again. And because of her life insurance policy, her parents didn't realize that they were the beneficiaries of. They didn't even know she had it. It was a $300,000 life insurance. It got them out of the debt that they had gotten into for her final expenses. And it enabled them to retire because she was still her mom was 71, I think, at the time and still working. So that is the power of what we can do. And I mean, this client was a very good friend of mine. And so it hurt, but I'm just so grateful that we were able to help her family in a way, even after her passing, that they now were able to retire and pay off any debt that they had incurred and be able to retire comfortably. So that's just the power of what we do.
Um, yes. And that was, oh, thank you for sharing that because that is such power. And look at that amazing comfort that you were able to bring that family as much as it was that you had to reach out to them and like of course like again you're saying that brings up you know trauma triggers and everything else because of them having to deal with this a couple months even after she passed, but then that had to have been such a huge blessing for them because they didn't even know it was there. They didn't
Yeah.
even know about this policy or the benefit that was coming their way.
Yeah,
And
they
the
had no
fact
idea.
that, I would imagine that there are some fraudulent companies out there or whatever else that wouldn't take the time to search out the benefits, the beneficiaries, and just keep the money and
Yep.
not even, not even bat an eye.
Yeah, I'm sure there's companies that do that. Yeah.
But that just shows how amazing your heart is and that you were a true friend of this person
Mhm.
because that brought such huge amount of comfort to them. And really, that kudos to you and blessings to her to prepare for that, which was again something that she never expected was going to happen either. So,
No,
wow.
she went into a coma and never came out.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So
Wow. 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 So yeah, I was going to say, so what's one mistake that most people make before they work with somebody like you? But really, it's just not being prepared.
it isn't, yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, that lady was only 39 years old when she
Wow. And
passed.
it's just a baby.
Yeah, she
She's
had so
just
much
so
life ahead of her,
young.
so it was so unexpected. So she prepared her family for something that they didn't even realize they could have been prepared for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was three and a half months ago, or 3.5 years ago, not months ago, that I hit a deer. And I wasn't expecting that at all either. I mean, I was coming home from work and I worked overnights. And so
Mm,
it's still dark out or whatever else, but I had a vehicle coming towards me that they didn't really have their brights on lights wise, but there were so many lights. This huge truck, I don't know what it is. Never seen something like that with that many lights. And even though they weren't on full blast, there were so many of them that was so bright that I was kind of blinded. And as soon as I passed them, deer right there in the road. And I didn't see it. I was blinded.
mm,
And I'm lucky to be alive because I could have easily passed. I mean, that deer could have completely went right through the windshield and killed me.
mhm.
And I count my blessings too all the time. But I'm
You're
I'm
very
lucky to be
lucky.
alive because you just never expect these kinds of things to happen.
Yeah.
That's
You're very
why,
lucky, Roy. Very, very lucky.
yeah, I
There's
know.
lots of people that don't survive that.
I know it's because I had more work to do here
Mm,
on this planet.
yeah.
Being somebody that helps with trauma and people that have been abused and molested like I was as a child, I have work to do.
Mhm.
I wasn't done here. So I bless having my life. I thank God for helping me through that time frame and keeping me alive because I have more lives to touch, more
Yeah.
lives, more work to do. So
More people
what?
to help.
Yeah. So what was one of the hardest lessons you've had to learn in business?
Hmm. One of the hardest lessons I've had to learn in business. Hmm. I mean, treating it like a business and not a hobby, I think would be one of the hardest lessons because
Hello, did you all hear that again out there too? That is a very powerful lesson.
it really is. Because we get into this delusion that, oh, I own a business, I'm good now. But then if you're not working your business, it's not working for you. So that was a very tough lesson for me to learn and to develop the habits to be disciplined enough in the business to show up for myself every day, especially when COVID had just happened because everything was
Sure.
on on this now, right? So it was like, oh, like I don't really have to show up like well groomed or taken care of. Like I can just wear my PJ pants and just hang out, right? Like so it was, but if you're treating your business like that, you're not fully present and showing up for yourself the way that you would show up if you were in person, then the business is and the universe, I guess, is going to say, well, you don't really want this that bad. So we're just gonna, hold off what you want. And it's gonna be over here, like dangling like a carrot for a donkey on a stick. Like, come get it, but you got to do some growing and really start treating it like a business. And so when I did start treating it like a business and Like I said, I've gone back and forth from part-time to full-time because life happens, right? And I'm grateful for that blessing, but going back into full-time and just treating it like a business, there's been a lot of awesome things that have been happening in the business, and the transferring of the skills that I have over to new people and helping them become independent is just been so fulfilling. But again, helping them get out of the hobby to the business mindset. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah. And that's got to be one of the most frustrating things too, I think, with working with different people. I mean, again, I've done MLMs too, and
mhm,
and direct sale marketing and different things like that. And it's all you can do is set the example and hope that they will follow. And you can run circles and you can like, try just always hope for, for them to follow your footsteps, but it's up to them. They have to grab the baton and they have to run with it.
mhm.
And they have to be ready. They have to do it for themselves. You can't do it for them.
Yeah,
And you can
unfortunately we can't.
want and you could
We can
you
want
can
to.
want them to do great things. You can, expect them to do great things, but they have to take that initiative.
Hmm.
So I love this question. I've only asked Stevie this one.
Okay.
What belief about success did you have to unlearn?
Ooh,
Mm,
that's a powerful question. So I had to unlearn that success isn't solely based on work ethic.
mm,
Okay, it's based on becoming the person who deserves that success and the lifestyle that you're seeking. So if it was based on work ethic, working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, I would have already had it. I had the work ethic,
yeah.
but I didn't have the life that I desired because I wasn't the person that deserves that success or that lifestyle. So I had to work through a lot of limiting beliefs that I was taught as a child, not just about but success, but about like my money belief system. Like, because, and I'm sure that a lot of you can relate out there that there are certain things that our parents do and say around money that now is our limiting belief, like money doesn't grow on trees, or oh, you got to turn the lights off because power is expensive. Like, it's those kinds of little things that plant in our subconscious brain that now we're saying that money isn't good, right?
Yeah.
Or, money is the root of all evil. I've had, some it's not the root of all evil. Evil is just evil, and money will heighten your character no matter who you are. So whether you're a good person or a not so good person, that money's going to heighten that character. So that
And
was,
small thinking will always hold you back. I
mhm,
always bring it up or whatever else that, people seem to have a contraction issue. I can't do this. I can't do that. That's impossible. And I say,
yeah,
take that apostrophe and put it right after the letter I, and then it becomes I'm possible.
yeah.
And you are capable of doing so many wonderful things out there as
Hmm.
long as you get rid of those limiting beliefs and things that hold you back.
Well,
So
yeah. And Roy, as children, we never had those limiting beliefs. They were impressed upon us
that's exactly
throughout
it.
our life, right? Like, you can ask a child what they want to be when they grow up, and their possibilities are limitless. They
Limits.
really are. And then somewhere in between the adolescence to the early adulthood, our beliefs are diminished in ourselves
Yeah.
because the system tells us what we can and can't have.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly.
And that's, and sometimes it's not the system, sometimes it's our parents, sometimes it's our friends, sometimes it's our coworkers, like sometimes it's the teachers. Like it could be anywhere, but what I think we need to keep in mind is that we are creatures with unlimited possibilities if we simply just believe in ourselves to go after whatever our desires are. Yeah, there's going to be challenges. The universe is going to say, "Oh, you want this?" how bad do you want it? It's going to throw some road bumps and some
That's
speed bumps in your
right.
way, and it's going to
Yes.
say, get over this hurdle. So it's up to you if you're going to quit at that hurdle or if you're going to continue to proceed through that hurdle and come out on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, that is exactly right. And I love that. I love that you bring that up. I love that you talk about that because that's the biggest thing. There isn't anything we can't do as children. And
Hmm.
then these limitations and things pop up and we hear all these, you can't do this, you can't do that, and put us into this little box or whatever else. And we slowly become you know, um, a result of, you know, our society and what
Hmm.
society thinks that we're capable of. And
Yeah,
we're available to do anything and everything.
we really are.
Oh,
And we have the ability to do it. It's just a matter of fully trusting the process and believing in yourself that you can do it. I mean, how many people wanted to be an astronaut or a firefighter or a policeman or, something that they just never went and pursued
yeah.
because somewhere along the way there was doubts implanted in their brain that said, no, you can't do this.
Yeah.
So instead of pursuing their dreams, they didn't, and now they feel kind of empty because they lost that passion and that purpose in life. So it's a challenge to get there, but
Yeah.
everybody can get there if they so choose to do so.
Yeah. That's wow. Now, do you have a family? Do you have children? And
Unfortunately, I don't have any children. I've had about 5 miscarriages myself, so I haven't had the blessing of having kids myself. So I just love everybody else's kids. I can give them back
yeah,
anyways. So
yeah.
it works out.
Can have fun with them and then you can take them back.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They can
Yeah.
stay for the day and then you can
Yeah.
have them back.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, well, I'm kind of in that same boat or whatever else too, right? I always wanted to have children and haven't really gotten to that situation or whatever else in life where it's actually happened, but
Hmm.
things are always possible.
Absolutely. Nothing
Life
is
isn't over
impossible.
yet. So,
Far
well,
from it.
sister, I have had such a wonderful time meeting you, talking with you, and having you share yourself with me and the world.
Hmm.
I absolutely have loved this time, and I could sit here for hours and chat with you. I I feel like we really connect in such a profound way. So
Hmm.
anybody that wants to work with you
Hmm.
or find you, how do they find you? If you send
Well,
me whatever information or whatever else, I'll put it in the descriptions below so they can reach out to you. But what's the easiest or best way for them to find you?
I mean, the easiest and best way, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I've got a TikTok account. I've got a LinkedIn account. Like, I can give you my email, my phone number. Like, I really, there's so many different ways that you can connect with me, and I want to thank you so much, Roy, for your time today and having me part of this. It's really a blessing to be able to hang out and just share things and get to know you a little bit better and what
Yeah.
you've gone through. And I really appreciate your vulnerability and sharing your
Yeah.
story as well.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing, we're social creatures down to
Hmm.
the very core, and sharing is caring. And, being able to share the things that people go through or whatever else is what makes us human. And
Absolutely.
we have to continue to just be humankind all the
Hmm.
way.
Absolutely. Yeah. It takes the
Well,
same amount of effort to be kind as it does to not be kind, so you
that,
might as well be kind.
that's right. Yeah, did you hear that administration that's going on right now? Oops, oops, I'm getting political. I shouldn't be doing that. So, so I have just had just a blast
Mhm. Me too.
meeting you and getting to know you a little bit better. So thank you. I know it's taken a few weeks because we've just had conflicting schedules and things come up. Life happens, right?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I'm
It's all
just
good.
so happy that we were able to get this to actually come together. And I adore you, doll. I absolutely
Mhm.
do. I love
Thank
your
you so
energy,
much,
your
Roy.
power, and I love to watch you glow. And I love hearing your stories and wonderful wins every week as they seem to come through during the mastermind. So for those of you that are out there that want to be a part of What's the Biz, I'm going through everybody with the redesigned empire first, and then I'll kind of branch out and do, other entrepreneurs. But yeah, you can always reach out to me or however else, and we can plan something for the near future. But for now, I just want to say thank you again, Jenna. I have had a wonderful time, and I will have all of her information or whatever else that she wants to share so that you all can reach out to her. And I'll see you on the next episode of What's the Biz.
Thanks again, Roy.
Thank you.